Hey neighbors, welcome. Thanks for clicking on my video. This video is part of the What Would You Make challenge or playlist. Let's see, our hosts are Christine from Divine Designs, Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, and Katie from Lady Red Crafting. Their links and a link to the playlist will be in my description box below. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. Project number 1, Turtle Home. I was just thinking a little bit patriotic when I was creating this project, and it had red, white, and blue in it. So I thought it wasn't like an in-your-face patriotic thing, but it has the colors, and so that's why I used the word home with it. So let's just show you how I put it together. Started with some burlap because I wanted that nautical look, and the shape of the sign gave me a little bit of a trouble. But I didn't want to use a round. I have some wood rounds, but I wanted to try this. This is glue I put on there. For some reason, I thought I needed to use glue. I thought it would be faster, but it ended up being on there so thick that I had to wait like half a day before it was ready. And at one point I googled how to get white glue off of fabric because I'm like, that's never going to dry. I seriously didn't think it would ever dry. But what I do, once I realize it's going on so thick, I'm actually using Mod Podge now for the top. But for some reason, I didn't use the paintbrush. It would have been much better and maybe would have dried faster, but I used the glue spreader. So I'm not sure where my head was when I started this off. But there it goes. I'm going to let it sit for a bit. And then we're going to work on the wood part of this project. And that's this really nice. I always like these crates. I always like the wood. It's not like super skinny like on some of the wood rounds. And this is one of the larger ones, so I'm not going to bother painting this. I feel like I like the way it looks. This is the top ply, and I feel like I like the way it looks without being painted, so we're just going to keep it. We've got the Mod Podge on it already, so we're just going to give it the quick iron with the Hippo heat press. As many say, it reactivates the Mod Podge. I just say that it becomes one with the wood. And I started ripping it off and I realized I was wrecking the leftover turtles. And I didn't want to wreck all of them. There's still 3 more. And then this is what I like to do instead of using a knife or a pair of scissors. If I can get away with just using some sandpaper on the ends, then that's what I'm going to do. I do end up sticking a pair of scissors in there just to get things started. And then I go back with the sandpaper just to clean it up a little bit more. And again, I'm not trying to make it perfect. Unless you're going to like stand with your eye like a couple inches from it. You really don't need to, have perfectly sanded palette wood there. So I just did what I could, and then I'm just going to finish it here with a very light coat of Mod Podge. When I use napkins, I like to finish it with a very light coat. I used to never finish it. I used to just leave it. And then I noticed like it was only lasting like maybe a year or a year and a half. And then the napkin was starting to come up. So I started putting just a thin coat of Mod Podge over top of it. I was going to use a stapler in the back, but I had this general purpose glue and it's really good. So I got that in the middle of the brace wood there, I think you call it. And then I just put down some hot glue on either end and just did a good press down. And the hot glue just keeps it right there. I even kind of forgot I had just glued it because it was so good. It was doing so well. I just used my little Cricut pokey tool to find those holes that were in the original sign, and then I used my rounded pliers to push them in and make them a little bit bigger. I have a lot of wood words and letters like family, welcome, home, and I decided to stick with home because I felt like the turtle was swimming home. Because that's what the baby turtles do when they hatch. They actually look for the moon and swim in that direction. So I know this isn't a baby turtle, but I thought that just went together, the picture and the word. I'm just going to use the original hanging jute there. Pop it back in and just give everything a final push. Make sure our glue is solid, and it is, and I'll give you a good look at this during the final reveal. Project number 2 is a shelled decor redo. I did do a redo project on this same day, and when I was doing the sea turtle project, I thought, oh, that would really work if I did a redo on these shells. I've been looking at them for like 20 years and just recently had my bathroom redone. And these old shell decor pieces were still in there, so we're going to give them a little zip. And I just went through all my bags of shells and picked ones that I thought were the right size and had interesting shape. And the jute that was on these is so old, it actually kept the shape. I was going to try and reuse it, and I couldn't even get it to like bend in places. So I ended up using my own jute that's not quite as thick, but I think it'll be fine. So I grabbed a screwdriver and boom, like it came up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? This isn't even a real shell. I'm like so jaded. They didn't even use a real shell. So I know this isn't a real starfish because they don't look like that. But wow, it's like I stared at that shell for all this time and it wasn't even a real shell. I was like, just like the whole time I was doing it, I just kept thinking, I can't believe that was a fake shell. I can't believe that was a fake shell. So we're just going to make this more interesting and prettier and brighter. Because I like the idea of I shouldn't say I like the idea. I love the wood frame on them. I think it's got a great sort of nautical, beachy look to it. And I think it's going to go really well with the turtle decor. So this is green truck paint. I put, I think, just a little bit of white in it to brighten it up. It was a little bit too dark for me. That color I'm painting them now is very similar to the color that it's changed to in the redo, but lighter. So this is going to be darker. And then I have this paint called French linen, and I thought that would be perfect for the middle. I could have taped the frame, maybe I should have, but I just didn't think of it until I was already doing it. So ended up doing 2 coats of French linen, And then I have this sand that I thought, I'm just going to try it. You know, I can paint over it if I don't like it. I thought it would be like too bright, but I just did like a little thin sprinkle, and I thought it was okay. So we're going to keep that. Then I'm using 2 different kinds of glue because, again, I wanted to be careful. And I wasn't worried about keeping the glue on the edges because when I flip it over, that glue is going to like drizzle down and give it a good adhesion. So I did a little bit of hot glue in a couple places as well, just to keep it stuck while the other glue is setting. And then I decided on these 3 shells because I wanted to use a spiral shell, but they didn't have any big enough. So I put 3 just in the little arrangement here. And again, the all-purpose glue and a little bit of hot glue. And then the little tiny one there, just use hot glue because it was too small. And then I thought, oh, I gotta distress it. Better look in the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.